So I was flipping through Instagram the other night and I went onto Alpine's page just to see what they are up to. And I noticed that Alpine have uploaded several posts about the heritage and history of Team Enstone, something that they don't often do or even allude to. And the general message of this seems to be Enstone, we are Team Enstone, and also the championship years as well, which also alludes to the time when the team was Benetton and Renault as well. Because let's not forget, the team that is currently branded as Alpine has won in total 7 world championships, made up of 4 drivers and 3 constructors. And this whole thing, from my perspective, is to remind us of the glory days, what they've achieved under previous identities, names like Schumacher and Fernando Alonso, and let's not forget Flavio Briatore, who has been lavishly covered in this. And it does make you wonder what is going on here, because normally everything with Alpine is very forward facing. The whole thing is we make electric cars, we're blue, we're modern, and by the way, we do also have an F1 team as well. Now normally I'd see this sort of thing and go, oh, that's nice, it's a bit of PR and everything before the British Grand Prix, which of course it could very well be. But with everything going on at Alpine right now, such as the CEO leaving, the closure of the Renault engine plant, and essentially the French contribution to the team, and also persistent talk of rumours around drivers. So therefore, I deduce from this whole thing is that something is bubbling away over at Alpine, and soon something big is about to happen. So let's discuss. Now, something you might have noticed in recent years is how certain teams from a PR and merch standpoint are leaning more and more into their heritage alongside the right here and now. Williams and McLaren seem to do this a lot, and it actually works out quite well for them. They're all like, hey, we're McLaren, and we've got Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, but also we've got Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost and Bruce McLaren as well. And it's the same story at Williams. You can go to their online store where they're very heavily pushing Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon stuff, as you expect, but if you want to go on a trip down memory lane and you want to get some Nigel Mansell or Alan Jones or Damon Hill or just general retro Williams stuff, then you can do it. Now, whatever you want to call them, Alpine, Renault, Benetton, generally Team Enstone, has a fantastic F1 history, one that I think other teams will be quite jealous of. But unfortunately, because of Renault's ownership of the team and its overall purpose as an advertising vehicle to sell Alpine cars, the history of the team is barely talked about or even recognised on social media. Everything about the Alpine team has to be forward-facing, current, modern, and anything other than that takes away from its purpose as a flogger of electric cars. Before what I saw just recently on Instagram, that seemed to be the whole approach. And it makes sense because now everything at Alpine has changed. The CEO who masterminded the Renault rebrand to Alpine is gone. Oliver Oakes, the team principal, has also gone. And also, the team will be using Mercedes engines next year, which is a massive contradiction to Alpine's purpose as a showcase of Renault technology. And so with the team potentially being BWT, Alpine, Mercedes next season, that won't sit right with the important suit people over at Renault Group. And so the whole F1 operation, it seems to have become this sort of weird Frankenstein of different circumstances. Alpine from the outside anyway seems to be a bit of a mess, and that of course, when you consider the history and everything, is a shame. And so the big question is, what's next for this team? Now, you can say whatever you want about Flavio Briatore. I'm not here to do that right now, but there is no denying that the man does have a track record of success and bringing success to teams. And I sense he is going to have one more crack, one more final go at turning Alpine or Team Enstone back into world champions. And so what does he need to do this? Well, he needs to have control, total control over the whole thing. But then how do you gain control? Well, Renault would need to sell or give up their stake in the Team Enstone Formula One operation. And it does make you wonder, all the things that we've seen over the past 12 months indicate that Alpine is slowly heading towards this direction. Of course, Flavio wants to fast track the team to success. He's done it before, and if he's got backing and everything and everyone behind him, I have no doubt that he could do it again. Now, of course, that might sound completely mad and incredibly difficult to do, but with regulation changes coming up and everything, you know, stranger things have happened. Now, despite their current form, there has been a new sense of vitality injected into the team, which is great because it's attracted new sponsors and partners, but it has also allowed this new treatment of drivers that we haven't seen before, or not in recent years anyway. First thing that comes to mind is the Doohan Colapinto driver switch, which was very badly handled. And in hindsight, even from the season opener at Melbourne, everyone kind of knew who Briatore would rather be in the car. Now, in my opinion, the signing of Jack Doohan was a bit of a knee-jerk reaction following the breakdown of the team's relationship with Esteban Ocon. Alpine needed someone new, someone fresh, malleable, easy to work with, and most importantly, from a brand standpoint, not French. Doohan immediately ticked all the boxes and was thus signed. However, once Colapinto came to the attention of Flavio, the whole mood changed. And as we all saw in Drive to Survive, it very much seemed like a pressure cooker environment. And so was it the right way to treat a driver? Probably not. But on the other hand, the team has to make up for lost time and play catch up. Because honestly, this is the team that let Alonso and Oscar Piastri slip out of their hands, and they've really got no time to be messing and faffing around. Which also means that now Colapinto is under increased pressure, because if he doesn't pull it together, score points, or even be on the same basis as Pierre Gasly, I sense he's going to be out as well. And you know what? Yeah, it would have been lovely and fluffy and everything for Doohan to see out the rest of the season and make the decision then. But a whole team's future and countless jobs, hundreds or 1,000 or so people, depend on the success of this team. It might sound harsh, but to save the feelings of one or two of your drivers only to harm the prospects or even jobs of your entire staff back at the factory just doesn't make sense. And although, of course, his signing is controversial and everything, Briatore appears to be the right man for the job at the time, because I don't think there's anyone on the grid, team principals or whoever, could have had the guts or even the nerve to pull this sort of thing off. Now, I do still have faith in Colapinto, but these recent rumours linking Valtteri Bottas to Alpine as a stand-in do seem to make sense. And of course, it seems to be down to a connection with Mercedes engines. McLaren found this out earlier in the season, where if you buy a Mercedes engine, you also get a Valtteri Bottas for free. So whilst Colapinto has potential but may not be the driver Alpine need right now, Bottas could be the perfect candidate to come in, do a job, and see how things are looking at the end of the season. And could that really happen? Well, Flavio has pulled the trapdoor on many drivers in the past, even ones that he has handpicked himself. That's exactly how savage he is. Which shows that under his management, maybe nobody is safe. Even Pierre Gasly needs to watch out. Now, something I thought that was great, and it doesn't seem to be going away, is that we recently saw rumours connecting Alpine and, as always, Fernando Alonso, and whether if Alonso could return to Alpine for a fourth and final stint. But despite that, I do still have this weird feeling that we will see a Alonso and Team Enzo reunion, maybe not on a driver level, but perhaps more on a advisor, team principal, management level, some sort of thing will happen. He certainly has unfinished business there, and the way he left the team last time is not something he's probably particularly happy with. So overall, with everything combined, the social posts, developments around the team in terms of management and drivers and suppliers, I just sense that as fans, we are being buttered up for something. 2026 with the regulation changes offers a great sort of fresh chance, clean slate opportunity. But it's clear that Renault Group don't care, and they don't want this team anymore, and they want to go off and build cars with zero relevance to Formula One. Meanwhile, Team Enstone want to go off and build Formula One cars, racing cars with zero relevance to EVs and what's on the road. And ultimately to be 100% a Formula One operation. But to do that, they are going to need a buyer. And so whether that's a new ownership, new team name, new drivers, something big is about to happen at Alpine. There's just this feeling in the air at Alpine, and if you sense it too, let me know in the comments below. And by the way, thank you so much for watching. Do that usual YouTube stuff of turning on notifications, liking and subscribing and all this sort of stuff. It's very much appreciated. I love when you guys connect and everything. It's great to see. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Paul, and I'll see you later. Cheers.